Hey, Jen, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Love your shirt. I know you said you had a message and I don't, which is at which point I pointed to my equal equals equal. I had to show it there. But it's great to have you here, as you said, during unprecedented, some people might even call it biblical-ish times type of thing. But respecting your time, let's get started. If you would just maybe introduce yourself and just give us a little bit about you, that'd be great.
Sure. So I'm Jen Littlejohn. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Spent most of my life in Memphis, and I have about 18 years of experience in communications. And I love communications because I get to support great leaders and write great messaging for team members. So from the front office to the front line, as I like to say. And you know, I think that my passions are in workforce development and making sure that people understand how to unlock their purpose and find what they want to do and kind of give them some direction and guidance. And then I think that's about it. That describes me in a nutshell. So
that kind of describes a leader who cares, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know. So tell me, you know, everybody has their why, or they might call it their purpose or whatnot. Why do you do what you do?
Well, I truly believe that I was born to be a communicator. And so it's just, it's all of who I am. And they say that if, you know, whatever you're drawn to, that's where you'll find your purpose. And so I keep being drawn to connecting people, you know, via messaging and then too, just connecting with people heart to heart. Again, I think that's why I do what I do. I am just, again, a natural connector, and that's it. That's I believe in connecting with people and helping them unlock their purpose and passion.
Well, I don't think there's anything better than that. And you know, I find it interesting. You've been in corporate world. Finally, you're right on target, pun intended, with that. But it's taken decades for corporate brands to see the value of aligning with social impact, how it's really good for business, and not to mention being able to attract talent. So as you say, you've been really interested in really good communications and engagement from the private sector to public service, and in diversity communities, at work, at home, etc. I like asking these questions because it's kind of a little bit of a push question. So what do you think differentiates you as someone who is a leader who cares?
Oh, wow. So I'm an empathetic leader. And I think that I have a knack for understanding people and seeing them. Again, I work with my head, heart, and hands. And part of working with your head, your heart, and your hands is your ability to have awareness and your ability to lean in. And so I think that that's what separates me is I'm that empathy and that fearlessness of leaning in and understanding what people are about. And again, leading with the head, heart, and hands, you're unlocking humanity. So when you're connecting to people, you're meeting them right where they are, and you're taking off those rose-colored glasses and looking at people and just really connecting in a more meaningful way. So I think that's what separates me.
Yeah, talk about being important all the time, but especially important right now, right?
Absolutely.
You know, my grandfather used to take me on walks when I was younger, and he's been one of my major influences. In a real short story, he used to smile at everybody, and I said, we call him Zeta, I'm Jewish, and he said, how do you know all these people? And he said, I don't know all these people, but when I smile at them, they smile back, and some of them even want to talk, and it makes them happy, and then I'm happy. It's not that complicated.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really isn't.
It's amazing. So, you know, with the speed of technology right now, we've got COVID, we've got, you know, racial equality, major issues finally coming to a forefront. Yeah. There's been kind of like time to think for everybody a little bit with all that going on. How do you view then head, heart, hand? Is that it? Head, heart, hand? Did I get it right?
Yes.
The
Yes,
three,
heart and hands.
not the
Yes.
4-H club, but the 3 H's. How do you view the future of community in terms of awareness when you're at work or at home or at play? How do you see that evolving?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I've learned over the years that I can't separate myself, into all these different parts. So how I show up is very much work. So you get Jennifer, Jen in the company and outside of the company. I think going forward, again, I talked about of place of this moment. You cannot a sense of awareness. Um, I think that we cannot, this is an unprecedented time, so we cannot like go through life as if none of this matters. And being cavalier and moving without intention, I think is not a way to live life in general. And so this moment is causing us to pay attention, to be aware, and to really lean in. All of us collectively are going to have the opportunity to do something amazing. We get to rewrite history together. We get to right wrongs together. And so I think that this moment, if you ever wanted to do something before in your life that was, bigger than yourself, I think this is the moment that you don't run away from, but that you lean in and see how you can help, what you can do, because everyone can do something in this moment, this unprecedented moment of racial healing and racial unity, racial justice. All of this moment requires all of us working together.
And one thing we talk about a lot with leaders who care is they realize that community is the number one thing that fills people's hearts and souls. People want to belong. And I can't feel how you felt. I get a touch of it being Jewish, but that's not the same as every day out there.
Sure.
How do you feel about what's happening right now in the sense of it seems like maybe the first time ever that every color, every background and whatnot wants to belong in that community and wants others to be belonging in the community?
Yeah, so we're all a part of, quote unquote, the community. It's called humanity. And I think that it's that recognition of humanity in each other. So, it's basic human rights, the thing all of us desire and want and need. And it's recognizing that you may be Jewish, but we have the same things. Like we have the same desires and needs, the need for love, the need to belong, the right to live and to live freely. All of those things are human, are a part of humanity. So we are all connected by that thread, that fabric. And I think that's how we stay connected. And again, it doesn't matter my skin color. I think that we get kind of hung up in like in the past and how things were. But again, we've got to understand that this moment right here is a moment that we do something different collectively. And we say, this is how we want to live going forward. We're going to be more inclusive. We're going to be more equitable. We're going to be, just more just. And I think that that this is just an opportunity, again, for everyone to lean in a way that they've never done before. And that's how you connect to the community. It's the fabric of humanity that connects all of us. If I've got breath and blood in my veins and breath in my lungs, then we are the same.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's actually better for everybody, not just this person or that person. The ability for everybody to have that opportunity is better for the whole community and each one. It's interesting. I had somebody talk to me about an influencer the other day, and they said that they thought, not to get religious, that they thought one of their influencers told them that the world is God's brain, and we're all His ideas walking around.
Yeah,
That
I
was
like
really cool. Because that's who we are. We're all part of it. How do you see business leaders or business leaders who care playing a more active role? And I don't mean just standing up and stating their case, which is important, but really ensuring not only the financial well-being of their people, their employees, but the physical well-being, the mental well-being, which is part of equality, is really part of their mental well-being. How do you see business leaders ensuring that happens, or making that happen, or being involved more? How do you see that happening?
So I once, there was a program that the federal government used to run of it, but a smart city is a city that is accessible to everyone. So no matter where you are, you belong. And I think that that's how leaders who care can approach their environments, is to have an environment where everyone has access to the same things. So no matter what level you're on, but it's an inclusive environment that's accessible. And I think that that's how you make sure that you are covering everyone. And then too, I challenge people all the time is to walk in someone else's shoes. So if you are managing people in the front office all the way to the front line, go on the floor and walk in those people's shoes and see, whatever you're asking them to do. If it's take a lunch break, where are the restrooms? How's the temperature in the building? Where's the feedback loop where they can participate and feel involved and engage with the company? But walk in the shoes of the people that you manage and see what they have access to and how they feel like they belong within the company. That's how you keep top of mind everything that's happening all the way from the top to the bottom. And you can't really speak on things you don't know. So you can't put programs in place for people that you don't know. There's a saying that I think Dr. Cornel West says is, you can't serve the people if you don't know the people, and so you have to know who you're managing, who you're leading, and you can't do that if you don't know them. And so that's what I'll do, is just like I said earlier, lean in more. That's the opportunity that exists here. What we discovered with COVID is that we were really not protected. The layers have been pulled back, and we now see all the things that we thought are not true. We thought a lot of things, and we're like, wow, we're really not as secure as we thought. We're really not as healthy as we thought. We're really more susceptible to diseases and viruses. And, life has just been the big reveal. I think 2020 is called the big reveal. And so in this revelation, what is it that you can do based on what has been revealed to you? And that is lean in more, challenge yourself to do more with less as well. You don't need all these extra things. So take it all off, throw it all away, and lean in. That's it.
Yeah, I love it. I think we've recognized, and you've kind of said it there too, that the grocery clerk, the driver, everybody, first of all, is a no-brainer, but we're really getting it now. Everybody deserves dignity and respect for what they do. Everybody has value. And, the teachers have incredible value, and they've never really been given that. But boy, how much did we notice that grocery clerk or the bus driver or whatever that that we take for granted. So I really appreciate what you're saying, and that is community, putting yourself in the other person's shoes and respecting them that way. And you know what? It's like my grandfather. It'll actually make you feel good to know that too.
Absolutely.
And then we can all start dancing in the streets. So what would if I gave you this project right now, it's a big question. The first step you would take, the first project you would take on to start the dramatic change in our systems right now and how we engage with each other? What would it be?
On how to engage with each other?
How to engage with other with respect to yeah, how to engage with other, and one step you would take towards a big project of change in our system.
Yeah, so I think that right now is the ability to be open and flexible. Um, again, leaning in is not a sign of weakness, but it really is a sign of strength. And it's you using all that you are and leaning in to understand another person, uh, project, goal, whatever it is. But it's really you bringing your whole self to something and leaning into another whole being to understand fully how you can help and use all that you have to help. So I think that that's the challenge, is to be open, to be flexible, to lean into every business or leadership, all the leadership acumen you've ever learned, lean into all of those pieces, and to really just, have an awareness of what's happening and see people for who they are as part of humanity, and not discount who they are. So, and what I mean by that is, this moment is going to cause all of us to connect with people that are at different levels. So from a young man who is looking for a job, or who, has had some struggles, to a young mother who has had some struggles, or to someone who you never knew had a mental illness and has mental health challenges, and some of the things that bias can't always reveal. You're going to have to lean in and talk to people and understand people in a way that you never have before in your life. And so use your heart, use your head to have the awareness to see people. Visibility is key. You've got to see people, you've got to understand, and that's how you can begin to put in ideas and programs and things to help. In terms of transformation, what I would do now, um, my number one thing, I think, is for my allies to show up in a way that they never had to do before. Um, Someone asked me today, Jen, what can I do for you? And I said, well, this is my lived experience. Um, to be Black in America is to carry a lot. And so, like most of us who work in corporate, we carry what we need to, and the rest we leave in our bag, and we go and do a great job. And then we come home and we do whatever we need to do, cry, unwind, and then we package it all up, zip it up, and go back into the office the next day. And so we're carrying a lot. So this is it. In terms of what I do, I go and I run, and I meditate and I pray. So I don't need anyone to do anything for me per se. I need my allies and friends to help each other understand that this moment requires all of us. And I need them, if you understand it, Mark, Mary, Ed, if you all understand Black people working by themselves, or people of color working and in more. Talk about how you've met me or you've met someone else, and that working with these individuals will bring about change, and how you want to continue to listen and to acknowledge, and to and to really lean in more with resources or whatever the case may be. And it's providing visibility, giving people like Mary. Mary has always believed in me, and so she will bring me along. Uh, she will give me visibility to people like you. And so that's what I need, more of that. And there are more people like me. I'm not a unicorn or an anomaly. So there are more people like Jen around this country who would love the opportunity to speak or to engage, or to share and to build. And I think that if I could do anything right now, is to encourage and to my allies and friends lean in more like they've never done before, and that's going to lead to the transformation that we need to see at this time.
That's an awesome way to complete this part. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for listening and sharing and including me. So.
No, my pleasure, for sure.